Hello everyone, we are back, we are here. No, I am not dead, contrary to popular belief. We've basically just been trying to get meds worked out, figured out, all this kind of stuff. You know, all the hoopla that goes into that, on top of trying to get promotions at work and reaching like extreme levels of burnout. It's been this whole thing. But to distract myself from all of that, I am a part of not only one, but two Pokemon draft leagues for Pokemon Champions, VGC. That is just this entire realm that is obviously taken over. So I am here today to give you the team recap breakdown of our team for the PPL League. It is VGC rules. PPL stands for the Pokemon Premier League. I was a part of that draft league earlier last summer. That was where we ran the Gouging Fire Walking Wake team. Same exact kind of principle, all that kind of stuff, except we're obviously doing doubles. All of these battles are best 2 out of 3, as well, just because VGC plays so much faster than singles. So, a lot of different stuff going into it. There's a ton of coaches that are involved this season. I'm a part of the Hyper Voice division, which thankfully for me meant that I got first pick. So with that being said, I did what was rightfully needed, and no, I did not first pick Incineroar. I hate that tiger more than I hate anything in this world, and if you expected me to draft it first, I have horrendous news for you. I first picked Mega Floette. Mega Floette is an absolute powerhouse if you weren't seeing just the absolute shenanigans that were happening around the time that Champions dropped. This thing has base 155 special attack, 102 speed, and 148 special defense. So this thing is a calm mind monster. Obviously this thing is here to just be a threat. Even if I don't bring it to the fights, it forces people to prep for it because they can't just underestimate it, you know? But yeah, main thing is that this thing is a specially offensive powerhouse, and like I said, people are basically forced to respect it. And honestly, Floette's here for the girls, so who am I to not serve that? So up next, I kind of knew I needed to cover my weaknesses as fast as possible before everything that kind of was able to protect Floette went. So first and foremost, I decided that I was going to take Mega Garchomp early because regular Garchomp got taken. Just don't worry, I would have taken regular Garchomp if that was an option. So unfortunately, even if I choose to not Mega Garchomp, I have to make it hold the Mega Stone because it's technically considered Mega Garchomp even if I don't Mega it. We do have the rules where you don't have to Mega first turn, which is at least a positive in this realm. But the goal is for this thing to kind of go, hopefully, as crazy as possible and be kind of there to protect a lot of the things that would threaten Mega Floette. Garchomp is also a really good option for countering things like Sneasler, Rough Skin for all of your Fake Out users, stuff like that. So should I choose to Mega it, for whatever reason I choose to not bring Mega Floette, this thing has a base attack stat once it is Mega of 170. Kinda nuts. And for some reason it has a base special attack stat of 120. I don't know who's running special attacking Garchomp, but just apparently that's an option. Obviously, Garchomp gets a lot of coverage. I don't really need to explain Garchomp, I feel like. We also get one of the most overpowering moves in the entire meta right now, that is Rock Slide. Obviously, having the 30% chance to flinch both Pokemon on opposite sides of the field is massive. Basically, just picture this as Garchomp is Mega Floette's bodyguard. And in the name of being a bodyguard, what better bodyguard than this Pokemon, who I don't know how it lasted this long enough to get back all the way to the top wheel for me, which means people typically pick twice before this was able to get back to me. I would have first picked this Pokemon, to be honest with you, if Mega Floette wasn't on the board, and I do mean that wholeheartedly. We have Farigiraf. Farigiraf is my best friend. I love this Pokemon so dearly. Armor Tail is genuinely just such a good ability. Such a good ability. It protects all of your Pokemon from things like Fake Out and just all of the nasty priority that kind of happens in VGC doubles. Also just insane. It works so good for Prankster as well. This Pokemon is like the ultimate support monster in like the most cute, most wholesome, adorable way, to be honest with you. This thing is your Trick Room setting queen. So we have that as an option. It's a really great screen setter. It's a really good helping hand user. Twin Beam is a really good option for hitting things like Sneasler as well. it gets Wish, it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Hyper Voice as spread damage, it gets Dazzling Gleam for spread damage. So truthfully, it's just genuinely one of the best mons to have on your team and on the field almost every single battle, just for its sheer ability to protect everything else, because Fake Out is so massive in doubles for allowing your Pokemon to kind of do whatever they want to do. And this forces people to have to deal with Giraffe and not have to deal with what's next to Giraffe. So otherwise, it just kind of gets free reign to do whatever it wants to do. So I love this Pokemon. Like I said, I would have first picked it. I am so happy it made it back to me because I really didn't expect to be able to get it in this league. And I am so happy that she is here. All right, next up, I have a Pokemon that, once again, did not expect it to get back to me in any capacity. I got Noivern. Noivern is so good in doubles, just like it is in singles. First, to be able to tell you what item both of your opponents are holding on the opposite end of the field. It's an amazing defog user. It's an amazing tailwind setter. Its speed stat is nuts. Boom Burst is such a great spread option. This Pokemon is nuts. And in a very funny turn of events, I was team prepping with my good friend Helios, that you guys may have heard me talk of before. Helios is a great draft friend of mine. We build very similarly. Our brains work very similarly as well when it comes to like constructing teams and everything that kind of goes into that. So he was helping me build this team while playing whatever game that the boys were playing with his friend Davian, who is also in this league, who he did not realize was in this league. So we decided I was going to take Noivern, and apparently Davian really wanted Noivern. And apparently in the middle of their game, when Davian realized I had taken Noivern and Helios had no idea that Davian wanted Noivern, apparently the most the sounds that came out of this human in the middle of their match were apparently just so shocking. So I have been offered to give up Davian's firstborn child for this. I said if I'm able to get Corviknight, I am willing to give up this Pokemon, but apparently the person who has Corviknight is not willing to give it up. So we're kind of at an impasse, but all of that being said, Noivern is here, and I don't know how it's here. Apparently this was one of the most volatile snipes I think I could have done to someone without realizing it, especially to have one of my friends live listen and react to someone's reaction, not realizing what was happening. I digress. Noivern is here. So the cool thing about this is it's kind of working counterintuitively to Farigiraf as well. So we have the option to go Tailwind and have our team be like super duper fast, or we have the option to flip speeds on its head and have everyone have their like speeds reversed, I guess, if you will, with Trick Rooms. So the slower people go fast, you know, all that kind of stuff. Alrighty, so up next, I have another lovely Pokemon. I've wanted to draft this Pokemon so many times, and I have had it sniped for me every single time I've gone to use it. So the fact that I actually get to use this one this time is, like, shocking to me. We have Blastoise. We have Big Man Blastoise. The man, the myth, the legend is here. Blastoise can do crazy things in this entire VGC experience. Shell Smash, Water Spouts go absolutely nuts. Obviously you can White Herb because they actually put White Herb in Pokemon Champions, which is so massive. But we have Muddy Water, we have Surf, we have Aura Sphere, we have Icy Wind, we have Ice Beam. Like, there's just so much coverage that this Pokemon gets, and it's so bulky, and it's just so good. As someone who lives for bulky offense, Pokemon like Farigiraf and Blastoise just genuinely have my entire heart. I love them so dearly. And truthfully, I'm really excited to be able to play with this Pokemon because, like I said, I've wanted to do so for such a long time, and I kind of needed a bulky water. The same person who took Corviknight also had Milotic, so both the Pokemon I wanted to kind of fill those roles, I wasn't able to use. And after seeing how much I loved Milotic in Bubble, I was hoping I'd be able to get her. I was not able to get her. But I am glad that Milotic is finally getting the recognition she deserved. But with that being said, we had to fill the spot somehow, and I think Blastoise is a great way to substitute her. Not that she can be replaced. I would never say that we can replace her. But if I am going to have to have a substitute teacher be here in place of, you know, the one that, you know, you love so dearly, I'm glad that Blastoise can be here. Alrighty, up next we have a Pokemon that I also have never used before, have wanted to use for a while, but it was just never like right place, right time to use it, and I think this is now right place and right time. We have Tinkaton, our lovely fairy steel type. Once again, just kind of here to cover a lot of weaknesses. It covers a lot of bases. This Pokemon also gets Fake Out, it gets Faint, it gets a lot of just like support with Play Rough, Gigaton, Hammer. This Pokemon also gets access to Rock Slide, which like I said is kind of one of the most meta moves in the game right now. We have Thunder Wave in order to be able to paralyze some Pokemon. We can set up hazards if we want to. And in a move that I hadn't seen get a lot of light until Champions came out, the move Quash, which basically means that you use it on a Pokemon and it forces that Pokemon to move last. So as long as you outspeed that Pokemon, you can use Quash and force that Pokemon to go last instead of whatever place it would have had in the battle order. So kind of a crazy move that this Pokemon gets access to that I really had never seen anyone even talk about the move Quash until now. But we have access to that, so that's pretty neat. Up next, I have a Pokemon that I haven't been able to use since literally when I did draft back in Gen 6. So it's a little fitting that we're now back in Mega Meta, and that was the meta that I first started draft in. And I haven't been able to use this Pokemon since. So it's a little kumbaya, come back home moment. We have Serperior. Contrary is obviously just so good to have in any situation. Serperior is also a super fast Pokemon at 113 base speed, but this Pokemon does get access to super fast taunt, which is super awesome. Noivern does too. I kind of forgot to mention that, but really fast taunts as well. Obviously Leaf Storm getting able to give you a special attack boost instead of a special attack drop. This thing gets really fast glares, which is super massive as well. And not a lot of people want to mess with Serperior or Contrary, so like I said, it's kind of a threat that people are forced to prep for, because not a lot of people want to deal with it, to be honest with you. Up next, we have a Pokemon that I haven't used before. I genuinely don't even think I touched this Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet, and I'm kind of kicking myself for that now, I can't lie. This Pokemon I actually started using on Singles Ladder in Champions, and it was on the team that got me to Master Ball tier, so I've been having a lot of fun with this mon, so I'm really excited to be able to use it on this team specifically. So we have Espathra. Espathra is just a really good option. It's so fast. It's got 95 base HP, not great defenses to round it out, but you know, we can always kind of boost those as needed. 101 base special attack and 105 base speed. Obviously, as you guys know, on the Singles Ladder, this thing will Calm Mind, Protect, stored power, just absolute shenanigans. This Pokemon also does get access to Frisk though, so if it's ever a game where I want to have Frisk but I don't want to bring Noivern, I do have the option to send out Espathra instead and be able to double Frisk the Pokemon's items just so we know kind of what we're working against. Another great screen setter as well. Lumina Crash is another great option as well, just in case I want to be able to hit them pretty hard and also lower their special defense by some pretty heavy stages, which kind of allows for both Serperior and Mega Floette to kind of come in and just do some absolutely nutty damage if need be. This Pokemon kind of does whatever you want it to. It sets almost every single weather in the entire game, if not every single weather in the entire game. So this Pokemon just really is a jack of all trades, and because I'm actually allowed to Baton Pass stats, this is a great Baton Pass user as well. So I'm kind of very excited to just play around with this mon now that I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it on Singles Ladder, and really just kind of see what really silly, goofy stuff we can come up with this season. All right, and then if you guys watched any of my battles during Bubble as well, I have another Bubble returnee. We have Skeledirge. I'm so happy to have Skeledirge. Once again, the definition of bulky offense. I really needed a fire type on this team, and I was kind of torn between Hisuian Typhlosion or Skeledirge. Obviously, Hisuian Typhlosion is the faster option, but I struggle with running very frail mons because it stresses me out, and then I feel like I can't think as well as I want to because I'm so concerned about them literally getting just sneezed on and dying. But Skeledirge is a kind of cheeky, sneaky little VGC player. This Pokemon gets Encore. You obviously have access to Torch Song and just boosting your special attack. It does get access to Heat Wave. We have Scorching Sands, we have Slack Off, we have Will-O-Wisp, we have Yawn, we have Helping Hand. This Pokemon can go really crazy on Sun teams too and kind of go unpunished because you're literally using the Sun against them and also boosting your special attack every single turn that they're also probably not using. So overall, I'm very excited to be able to use this mon as either just like a really bulky offensive / defensive Pokemon, or just run it as straight support, because a lot of people wouldn't really expect support Skeledirge either. But I loved this Pokemon in PPL, and I think it kind of has some time to shine in these kind of conditions. So I'm hoping that Skeledirge can kind of just be something that catches people off guard, and just have some really fun moments with him. All right, at this point, I only had 7 points left. I did decide to just fill out the entire roster because I would rather have more options than less. Just kind of A, force people to prep for more, and B, just kind of give me more to work with given circumstances of like teams that I really don't know what I'm going to do against, to be honest with you. So I wanted another Pokemon that could really just kind of abuse Trick Room. Originally I was going to go for Rhyperior. Unfortunately, that did get taken from me. So we have Golurk here in its place, which really isn't a bad option. We have the option of No Guard or Iron Fist. So we can either boost our punching moves and stuff like that. No Guard is kind of crazy because that gives us access to 100% accurate Stone Edges and Dynamic Punches. Poltergeist is also just a crazy strong move for a Pokemon that just has such a high attack stat. Other than that, there's really not a ton to him. He's just kind of here to be Trick Room, Kablamo if need be. Other than that, he's our guy. Alrighty, with the last 5 points, I drafted 2 Pokemon I have never used before. I don't think I've ever had this Pokemon on my team ever in my entire life, to be completely honest with you. We have Passimian. So we kind of have 2 options with Passimian. One, with its ability being Receiver, which a lot of people I don't think have ever used before or even know what it does. But basically it allows us to copy an ally's ability that faints before it. So we can either have Passimian get like Speed Boost if it comes in after a Spothra. There's just a lot of crazy abilities that this thing could kind of get access to if we send it in after a Pokemon that faints. Or if it's a team that we're facing that has a lot of Intimidate, we do have Defiance on this mon. So allowing my attack to get raised for every single time an Intimidate mon comes in on it, or something of the sort, whether it be Icy Wind and having them drop my speed. This Pokemon can kind of go crazy. It has a base attack stat of 120, a base speed of 80, and a base HP of 100. So kind of just some absolute shenanigans going on, to be completely honest with you. We also have Coaching on this Pokemon. So it's a really cool and goofy, silly support or just absolutely crazy offensive mon. I really didn't expect this out of Passimian, but I guess we're just gonna go where the winds take us with it and just see what happens. And if it does horribly, we'll know why it's in the low point bracket. But if it does well, we put respect on Passimian's name forever. Alrighty, and last but not least, we have our last little guy on the roster. We have Arbok. Arbok is here to be an Intimidator. It also has a nerf, so if we know a team is going to probably run a lot of like the berries where it reduces super effective moves or citrus berries, stuff like that, obviously a nerf makes it to where they just don't eat their berries, which is kind of nice. This Pokemon does get access to Glare. This Pokemon gets access to Acid Spray, which lowers the Pokemon's special defense by 2. So obviously, once again, just another really great setup for Mega Floette, Espathra, kind of the just insane special attackers that we have on our team. Obviously, we can set up Toxic Spikes. We could just Toxic in general. This thing also gets access to Rock Slide, Dragon Tail, Earthquake, Coil, like... And if we really wanted to, we can run Haze and make it so all of the stat boosts across the board are just null and void, to be completely honest with you. You can almost run this Pokemon whatever way you want to, but it's just a really cool option to be able to kind of like slide in and do some really goofy stuff with. It's kind of in the same boat as Passimian where like I've never used it ever, and if it does stuff then great, if not, no harm, no foul. But that is our team for the PPL. You will have your first battle going up this weekend, where I'm actually getting to battle someone who has kind of been in my corner, rooting for me, and just kind of being in the comment sections, being really supportive for my entire return to draft, to be completely honest with you. So we get to fight Shroom. So you guys will get to watch my first battle ever against Shroom. It's crazy that it's taken us this long to battle each other. But you will have your first battle for PPL. Yep, that's what I'm going for. Ooh. I shook the camera. You will have your battle for that this weekend, and then if you guys are wanting me to double upload, depending on how much content you guys are willing to absorb of this format, we will be having a team roster update for Nova's VGC League as well, and we will potentially do uploads for that season as well. So all of that going on. Let me know what you guys are interested in. But you guys will have your first battle with me versus Shroom coming up this Saturday. I'm really excited for you guys to see it. And with that, I will not waste your guys' time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And let me know the Pokemon you are most excited to see take on this season. Have a good day, guys. Goodbye.